Tech Talk every Wednesday at 7:45 with Dr. Tracy Wilen and Ethan Behrman. This is the Michael Duke Show.
Michael Duke Show, AM 700 KBYR, news time 7:49 a.m. On the internet with us is Dr. Tracy Wilen, who is a thought expert, and she's into careers and technology. She's worked, of course, for HP and Apple and many of the other big names. She's written a whole bunch of books, all of them about technology and careers and how they intertwine. She's here today to talk with us about some of the biggest things that are happening, including Periscope, which we are now broadcasting live on right now at this minute at periscope.tv. Dr. Tracy Wilen, thanks for coming on and joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. So I know we're going to talk about that freelancer report on some of the hottest new jobs, but let's start off with Periscope, because I got to be honest with you, I'm an early adopter, and I just get a kick out of it. It is such a cool product. Tell us your thoughts on Periscope.
Well, I think it's an interesting evolution for the news industry, for sure. People can now report from anywhere, anytime, use real-time video, and, really keep us informed. It's not just reserved to only the newscasters, although the quality, I'm sure, is much better. I fooled around with it a little bit. Right now there's a lot of people just doing kind of kludgy things with it. It certainly has value.
Right.
It certainly will create jobs. All of the social media is turning in that direction, and I think it's interesting. How are you using it?
Well, we're using it to broadcast the show every day. We're broadcasting 12 separate segments, and 9 to 10 minutes apiece for the different, for 3 hours, so 4 segments an hour. And I basically just started playing around with it, like you said. There's some weird stuff out there. But there's obviously some cool stuff as well. I've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower. I've walked the streets of Hong Kong. I got to surf off the coast of Australia on a surfboard. All of it by following somebody who happened to have a phone or a tablet or whatever and was able to take me along with them. There's obviously some seamier stuff out there as well, but I think you can. I think there's some real benefit and real value to this.
Yeah, and I think this, the security industry and use cases could be quite interesting, for law enforcement, getting on the scene, protection, filming things. I guess it could really work for or against you. But it's certainly something that's going to continue to go forward and create jobs. And I'm always interested in things that open up new job creation for us.
What's interesting to me is that there's a tremendous number of young people who are using, and I say I'm 45, so people who are millennials, 30 or 25 and less. And I think that's kind of just part of their. It's part of their world. It's part of the mentality. They're sharing everything with everyone all the time. That's what they grew up with. And so this really, I think this tool folds right into that, sharing pretty much everything that they're doing all the time with anybody who might happen to be interested.
Yes, and I would agree with you that the research indicates that 65 to 75% of us are really visual learners, and we would prefer to watch things like YouTube and video streaming to get our information. And to me, that's promising for a number of areas, including education. If I can impact a student by delivering things on video and have it more memorable than text, then there's a benefit to it as well.
The only thing about Periscope is it is one way. I talk, and the folks who are viewing it can chat back to me, and I see the messages on the bottom of the screen. I obviously can't type back to them. Do you see a business application or a career-type application that Periscope could be used for?
It's funny. I was trying to figure out if I could use it a lot of people ask me for speech clips.
Right.
Can I use Periscope to actually film myself? Because the other alternative is I have to either hire a camera crew or ask the host to do it, and it's expensive. The problem is a lot of people aren't familiar with it yet, so they're uncomfortable with using my phone to film me. So I might have to go with GoPro or something like that, and even that's still uncomfortable for people to use some of these new applications. So, because I was trying to figure out how can I use it? Do people really care what Tracy Wilen sees on the road? Most of the requests I get is, what is Tracy Wilen doing in the business context that my company can benefit from?
Right.
And so I understand that two-way. I do need someone to either come with me who knows how to use it really well,
Right.
Otherwise, but for the news, I can immediately see the attraction and the use case for it.
Well, and you could use it, giving speeches or a day in the life of Tracy Wilen kind of thing, filming yourself and, of course, your own view of it, and then it replays and you can hook it up to Catch and it'll be archived forever, which is kind of nice to be able to do it kind of on the fly. I think as that technology evolves, there'll definitely be some changes, but I think it's here to stay. They went from 10 million subscribers in 3 months. In 1 month, they went up another 3 million subscribers. So they're jumping large and small. I think it's going to be a big deal one day.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's very exciting, and it's good that you're a fast adopter because I know who to call now.
There you go. I'm happy to help. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I really am. I mean, when that first day that I was on it, I literally walked the streets of Hong Kong. I got to see, the Eiffel Tower. I got to see from the top of the Freedom Tower at the World Trade Center site. I mean, there's just so many things you got to participate in. It was very cool. The other thing that you and I are going to talk about, Freelancer just put out a report of some of the hottest new jobs, including WooCommerce jobs and some other things. There's some great stuff out there, great opportunity for folks who might want to take advantage of it.
That's right. So I actually contacted freelancer.com once we started to talk about Periscope, and they definitely see it as driving, video in general is driving a lot of jobs. So I asked them, what are the big trends today for freelance jobs and part-time jobs? And they said video streaming, Facebook's getting into it, YouTube is obviously there, now Twitter. Social commerce, everyone has a storefront. The holiday season is coming, whether you're a big firm or a small firm. E-commerce is on the rise, and the U.S. is now the number one in e-commerce at $238 billion, surpassing China. And then they said, data science is still always going to be sexy and have lots of job creation there. So, those were their bets for the rest of this year on where to look for part-time and freelance jobs. And
I was looking at this, the fastest growing jobs, it was WooCommerce and data processing and report writing and Excel, Microsoft Excel expertise and all. There's one common thread that you and I have talked about this. A lot of this stuff can be done from anywhere, from your home. I think that the telecommuting, which has been a word from long ago, but I think that stuff is kind of on the rise.
Yes, and there's another thing that I like to look at these part-time freelance platforms is because they're usually tapping into something new. And when something is new, you really can't afford it as a company as a full-time position. So you go out and you have these part-time opportunities. I saw that with mobile, I saw that with video, and I saw that with wearable tech, and now we're seeing it with this video streaming. So it's a place that you can see, where's the trend going? What kind of skills, what kind of jobs are going to be in the future, because these part-time jobs will eventually probably become full-time portfolios. And yes, you can do it from anywhere, so you don't have to think about you being limited to just going into an office and doing face-to-face.
Now, we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I did notice that, you and I had talked about independent contractors and working part-time and freelancing and kind of these kind of things before. And now I just saw, of course, that Uber just lost a court case where they're going to have to say that some of those independent contractors are now employees. I think that's actually a step back for those kind of things. Do you?
I agree, because now you have to cover those costs. So now all of those things that we've been enjoying, I use Uber all the time.
Right.
And I get very low cost rides. It's very, I've had incredible experience with it. So what's going to happen? The prices are going to increase because now Uber is going to have to cover the cost of supporting these employees. So I think what will happen is you'll see higher costs and less people participating because it won't be worth it.
Well, and I'm definitely concerned. And of course, this is one of the things that government, it seems like they always want that regulation in there. And so whatever they can do to try and make it work. And I'm hoping that the technology just kind of continues to outstrip the pace of, the Goliath, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, and so Uber, of course, announced, and they've been in development for a while, as has Google and Apple, the autonomous car, saying, okay, if you're going to get me on a person, then I'm just going to have to remove the person from the equation and go into a fully robotic car for transportation, because then you'll just leave me alone. You'd hope, right? But you'd never know.
Well, and that's the thing. You never know. And, of course, all the new technology with that. I mean, it seems like there's 2 or 3 more companies now that are getting into the mix with self-driving cars and everything else. Definitely, it's an exciting time to be alive, and definitely an exciting time to see all these technologies and things moving forward. Dr. Tracy Wilen, thank you so much for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you.
We got